going on, everyone? Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Wednesday upon us again, obviously. And yeah, I've got some updates for everybody. I've got a beer to drink and kind of give everyone just a quick look at what I have been up to. So first things first, I got a beer. Pretty good, pretty dark. Beer I call Darkness on the Edge of Brown. It's kind of a pseudo Munich Dunkel lager. Was lagered, used the 2124 Bohemian lager yeast from Y Yeast, or is that Bavarian? I think it's Bohemian. I could be wrong. But either one of those lager strains. And it was kind of a hodgepodge of some different malts I had around. I had some American de-bittered chocolate malt from Brice. Had some caramel malt sitting around, and a mix, about 5 pounds each of Pilsner and two-row, really light two-row. So decided to toss it together and make something kind of dark and malty for the fall. I didn't get a chance to do an alt beer or an Oktoberfest this year, so wanted to have a lager that I could turn around kind of quickly. This is low-ish alcohol, about 4.5, 4 3/4%. It took about 5 weeks to brew, and here it is. It's pretty. It's almost opaque. It's kind of got that really dark brown, or you know, some like a lighter porter kind of a color. So it's got some ruby highlights on it, but cap sits well. Good head retention on there. And it smells great. I used all Hallertau hops in it, about 30 IBUs or so, 28 IBUs, and yeah, it's pretty tasty stuff. So smooth. Great for the weather right now. Let's see, first things first. I did get the videos up for the can kit this past week, or maybe a week and a half ago, and hopefully I didn't offend anybody. Not my intention. I didn't bash them. I haven't tasted the beer yet. It's still fermenting away. I just wanted to give an honest opinion of what I thought about the kits pre-tasting, and the things that I do like about them, things I didn't like about them. So hopefully everyone got a chance to check those out. If you don't, please check out my channel and watch them, please. Let's see, other things that are going on. I did buy some more pieces for the grain mill project. I bought some wood legs and a table we're going to cut into size. That project's kind of on the back burner right now because the brewery itself is starting to really take shape. I was talking to some of you guys about how I finally got the lease buttoned up, and this past week my architect dropped off these beauties, blueprints. So now I can go down to City Hall and apply for all of my permits, and we can start getting the construction going. So very, very exciting stuff. If you live in the St. Louis area, you know, we're going to be open hopefully here at the end of October, very first of November. I know it keeps getting pushed back, but you know, when you've got a business like this, just how it happens sometimes. But please follow us on Facebook, Heavy Riff Brewing Company. On Twitter, we are Heavy Riff Beer, I believe, at Heavy Riff Beer. And every day my brother does a hashtag 365 albums project where he talks about a musical album he likes and some tracks off of there, just kind of you know, what's in his head at the moment as far as music goes. And I think that takes us pretty much up to date as far as the brewery goes. Homebrewing wise, I've been keeping busy. Like I was talking about in the last video, I've had to brew a lot of different beers in test batch form for the Augusta Bottoms Beer Festival, which is approaching us here in, let's see, a little over 2 weeks. So I've got several beers I'm really looking forward to taking down, and hoping that I will see a few folks from the BrewTube or 17 Brew Crew community, whatever we want to call ourselves right now. And yeah, we'll have some fun and drink some beers. Now on to what I am most excited about. I have everything done for my Justin.tv broadcast, or brewcast, or beercast, whatever you want to call that as well. I finally got my mixer situation done. I got my turntable set up, pretty much all taken care of, and the computer that I've been just putting together. I've been doing a lot of little projects surrounding that, and I actually did cast on Monday, and was nice enough to have several of the 17 crew guys join me and welcome me to that portion of the community. It was really great. Had a really fun time doing it, and I actually got kind of trashed too. I didn't mean to, but you start playing music and having a good time and talking to folks, and next thing you know, you're just, you know, I don't know, 3 sheets to the wind, just how it goes. But let me get behind the camera, and I will show you guys what I've been working on, and show you kind of my JTV cast. I've got my software up that I'm using, some of it at least, and I've also got some little projects that I'll show you that I did for my microphone and one of my camera mounts. So let me walk around back here. Alright, so here we are. Turntable. It's a Technics SLQ 200. Brand new stylus on there, and I bought this from a place called Vintage Vinyl I was talking about, and they completely serviced the unit before they sold it to me, so they sold it to me as new, and it is working really, really well. The only thing I did have to purchase for it, I did have to get a preamp, get rid of the little bit of buzz that happens, and this is a pretty nice model. It's about 20 bucks from Amazon. It's a Behringer PP400 model, and it's really small, compact. It has a wired nut for grounding, or not a wire nut, but just a simple grounding nut, which I have to reconnect. I was messing with some things back here. And I've got an old stereo amplifier, just a Philips, that I'm using to amplify signal to a couple speakers and a subwoofer. The old studio monitor speakers I have, the cones on the actual woofers were rotted out, so I'm just using this for now. But honestly, I use my headphones, you know, when I'm casting, and I prefer headphones when I'm listening to music, you know, like albums for the first time. So when I'm not partying, I'm not messing with anything, and pretty much what I do is I just have the amplifier off, and I just have those on. You guys may notice this is a different mixing board than the one I had before. I actually liked my old one better that I had picked up. It was a realistic model from the 70s, but it had the exact inputs I wanted. Unfortunately, it was having grounding problems, and I did put a new ground on there, and from there it was working fine for a few days, and we hooked up a second microphone to it, and for whatever reason, that second microphone, we plugged it in, everything stopped working on it, and I ended up having to replace it. This is just a cheap, really cheap model from Radio Shack. It's a $35, just a simple microphone mixer. It doesn't have VU meters or anything like that, but I'm using my software to kind of monitor any clipping signals. So for the cheap price, it's working for now, because the board I'd really like to get is around $250, and that's just not in the budget at the moment. I've got a really cheap little old E-Machines computer back there that I stuck some RAM in and a pretty big hard drive into. Got that from my parents, just sitting in their basement. It's their old computer. But for audio recording, a lot of you guys know you don't need a whole lot of processing power for it. I just needed to put in a few gigs of RAM so that I could easily stream. And for that, I've got two cameras. I have one made by iHome. This was just a cheap little $11 camera, although it does work pretty well, has a focus on there and everything. And then on that little stand over there, I've got a Logitech C270. Not a very expensive camera either, just a little $30 camera, but it does work really, really well, actually. I like Logitech products. And the little stand that it's on is one that I built. I had an old broken Rock Band drum kit, and so I took the legs apart, and on that one it's just kind of sitting on my home theater speaker stand the other side, but it could just sit on the ground too. And then I had a pole that was almost perfect to go into the silver pole that's there, and then I just cut a hole in that piece of wood and set it on top. And there you go, just really cheap, simple camera mount. I wanted it kind of pushed away from the computer, sorry about my hand there, because I didn't want just like my face, you know, just right there on the screen. Here's my microphone, my main microphone. And once again, I took the other half of the Rock Band drum kit. And on this particular microphone, it came with the little plastic mounting nut for a regular speaker stand, and I didn't have any. And I also couldn't find one that I liked in the way it sat, and I was like, you know, maybe I can make something myself. And so this is actually an old golf shaft that I put a little piece of wood, and then it's just kind of taped, you know, to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. But it's nice and sturdy, doesn't move too much. This is an Audio Technica ATR 1200. Let's see if I can find it there. Yes, there we go. Pretty cheap little microphones. They're cardioid microphones, so they don't have a great off-axis response if you were talking way far away or, you know, kind of to the side. But for simple front speaking, which is, you know, typically what I did when I was in broadcasting school, it worked fine for me. So I'm really looking forward to doing everything. And like I said, outside of having to fiddle with just a mixer over and over and set levels, it's working fine. iTunes is all set up there, and I don't have quite all my music in there yet, and it doesn't include vinyls, but I've got almost 84 gigs of music, so whenever anybody's listening, they can request, you know, of course I don't have everything, but if it's, you know, pretty typical, I'm gonna have it. And I have a lot of, you know, kind of non-standard and indie rock and stuff like that too. I am using VidBlaster, which a lot of folks use for casting. This is the free version, so it does have the ticker that's in the little corner up there on the main screen. It doesn't really bother me too much, and I just try and keep my head out of there, make sure there's nothing important that goes behind that ticker, and it's been fine. The other camera looks at my kegerator, which you guys have seen before, so anytime I get up to get a beer, I kind of switch over that camera, and you can see me go over and pull a pint. But that's it, everyone. You know, thanks for tuning into my Homebrew Wednesday. Everyone have a great one out there, and hopefully I will see you guys in the JTV world. I am planning on casting tonight as a final test cast. Today is the 19th of September. In Central Time, I will start broadcasting right around 7 o'clock, and I plan on going for just a few hours. I don't really have any topics or anything like that tonight. It's not a real show. I'm just trying to, you know, make sure that all the levels are coming through on the other end, and make sure that everything is kind of working correctly before I start a show. I'd hate to have, you know, technical issues in the middle of that. But if anybody wants to hang out and listen to some music, more than welcome to join me. After that, my first real show I think I'm going to do tomorrow, and that will be at, right around 7 o'clock or so Central Time again, and that will be a real on full drink-in. I'll have some topics to talk about. Hopefully either my brother or a friend will come and join me and be talking on that second microphone. We can have some banter back and forth and have an entertaining show for you guys. I don't know if that will stick as my regular time. I'm still trying to feel out when other casters are doing their show. It worked pretty well on Monday night, and I don't work on Tuesdays, so that works pretty well for me, but I know not everyone can party on a Monday night, so we'll see what everyone's capable of doing, and we'll go from there. But thanks, everybody. I will see you guys next time and on the next Homebrew Wednesday video, and please check out my JTV cast, justin.tv/heavy riff beer, RIFF beer. Thanks, guys. Cheers. 17.